We're rounding out our week of Savor Dallas with a delicious recipe from a great Dallas restaurant. Cooking it up for us today is Chef Jeffrey Hobbs from the Porch. Welcome.
Well,
thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
And what are we doing today?
We're going to be doing a dish in the style of the Porch mussels that's actually been on the menu since the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I've heard so many wonderful things about the Porch.
I
mean,
have too, yes.
what is kind of your premise? What's your concept?
Very much just home style cooking.
Well, that's right up
very
my alley.
approachable, classic, and like our best selling dish is the macaroni and cheese.
Oh, stop,
yes,
stop,
With smoked ham.
stop.
Yeah. What is the secret of the mac and cheese?
The smoked ham, I think.
Smoked ham?
Yeah.
See?
And three different cheeses.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're heading over to the Porch right after
Yes.
this.
My niece makes a macaroni and cheese, and she calls it her signature dish.
Signature dish.
It's one of the only things she makes, but it's her signature
We
dish.
should have a mac and cheese throwdown.
We'll have to do that. We'll
Yeah.
do it.
So
Okay.
what are we cooking today?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to starting off. Actually, what I did is I took our traditional recipe, which is a little bit more complicated. Sometimes that can happen in a restaurant situation, but I wanted to make it easy for the home cook. So what we have are flavors. We have garlic, we have celery and onions, white wine, of course, which is the chamois. Actually, we had this at the restaurant, and it will be at Savor Dallas this weekend as well.
Okay, Courtney wants some.
Yes, and it smells so good. She's just off camera waiting
And we
for an
have.
opportunity. Yeah.
It's delicious. You'll enjoy it.
Great.
Tomatoes right now obviously are not fresh, but what's really coming back in. I grew up with canning, and a lot of people are starting to can at home again. If you get a great tomato and you treat it well and you can it nicely, this Hunt's diced tomato is one of the best tasting canned tomatoes on the market. So that's what we'll be using today.
Okay.
Also, clamato juice, which is a tomato cocktail. With actually some dried clam in there as well to give it a little bit extra
Clamato. Okay.
seafood flavor. At the Porch, we actually make a completely separate clam juice sauce.
Wow.
So that's the complicated part. We're going to simplify it and put it all into one today.
Okay.
Which is what I love. It's got to be simplified.
I like to cook very simply at home.
Yes.
And
So
we start with a modest 3 or
yeah,
so
a moderate
on-
heat. I always,
yeah.
whenever I'm cooking vegetables, unless I'm going to be sautéing, which is a very, kind of like when you think of a wok and you're
Yeah.
stirring things and they're jumping around in a pan.
Okay.
I always like to start on a lower heat
With
and
real
melt
butter?
it gently. Real butter's good.
All right.
And then we have a little bit of whole garlic cloves,
Oh, God.
which you can
love
get
garlic.
these peeled already in most supermarkets now. They'll
Okay.
have in the vegetable section, like the prepared vegetable section. And we start off with whole cloves. Put them in the pan first so they can start to caramelize. Once they start to get a little bit brown, then we'll add the carrots and the celery.
Okay. That always adds so much flavor. Celery.
Oh, it does. I love celery.
Yes.
And then here comes my onions.
Oh,
And then-
yeah,
Oh,
gotta have onions.
You like
Got-
onions?
Oh, I love onions.
It's one of the only ingredients that you can find cross-culturally everywhere in each cuisine. Onions you can find
And you're
anywhere.
using red onions.
This is actually red onion.
Yeah,
You want
okay.
to pour that in there?
Sure. Look, I'll
Okay.
take the onions.
So once everything starts to soften, we'll add the onions, and then we'll continue to cook this down. And
we use this?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, stir it up.
Great.
Aren't y'all proud of me? I think y'all are going to turn me into a little cook by the end of
That's
this.
wonderful. Yeah.
Who's coughing over there? I heard Susie.
We have the magic of television.
Oh,
we
here we
have
go.
Ooh, so
that
that'll,
looks
a ready
good.
dish. This actually has the white wine already in it, reduced down. I actually added a little bit of tomato paste too, which you can do at home if you'd like.
okay.
That smells
Here's the tomato
heavenly.
paste over here.
Heavenly.
And the white wine, I always recommend if you're going to be cooking with it, that you should also pour a little bit for the cook as well.
Oh,
And if you have anybody,
Here comes my girl. Or my co-host.
yes. Around the wine glasses.
So I'm going to ask, is a mussel?
yes, it has. Yes,
That's
it's
a good question.
A shell with
Is
a
it an
mussel
actual-
inside of it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We didn't. You know what? I think there's another glass around here somewhere.
That's okay, we're fine.
Right. We're
We
running
have a minute left.
One
so
minute, we
gotta hurry
got
up.
1 minute
So,
left.
right.
We
There you
got
go.
1 minute left.
And then we have the finished dish here. These are the mussels.
Ooh, yum, yum.
This smells amazing.
Yes.
Did you bring any hot gloves or anything?
No, well, I use my oven mitt. My mom
That
knitted
looks
this
like
for
your
me.
grandmother made that.
My
knit.
mom actually knitted it. Yes. So then we also have some garlic toast to put on top. And, you know, the easiest thing to do, I would just keep it in the one. This is a one pot method.
Okay.
I would keep it in the pot and just sit it right on the table with the garlic bread.
Where's our fork?
And you know what? this was not that hard. Like,
It's not. It's
I mean,
really
just
easy.
watching you, it's, you know, I'm usually pretty intimidated
Oh,
in
and
the
there
kitchen,
goes the
but
cheese,
this
which
was
always
cheese
adds
on
wonderful
top.
flavor. Yes.
And then
So how do you get that muscle out of that
cilantro?
shell?
you
well,
just kind
you
of
can-
a little fork.
put a little bit of parsley on top. And you can
Okay.
actually use a
It's
fork.
so pretty.
Well, I said cilantro, parsley. Okay.
Or
we're-
they're so tender they'll come
we're
right
just
out,
about
and
out of time.
you can use the
Somebody
muscle.
try it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a creative
That looks so
way.
yummy.
I mean, you can use this as a spoon too, and get the broth out of there.
Okay, well, so
okay.
pass it around, please.
Take one down, pass
Okay,
it
we're out of
around.
time, unfortunately. Folks, for tickets and schedules for Savor Dallas, log on to savordallas.com.